Before we start the video, I thought I'd tell you guys that I have merch. It's on my website down in the link in the description below. If you're wondering what took this video so long, I've been developing a website, making merch, and I have all the stuff that I have on sale for a limited time only right now. So go check that out, and if it tickles your fancy, perhaps purchase some things and support the channel. But until then, let's start the video. On a post-apocalyptic planet named 𝕒𝕒𝕣, the once thriving planet was taken over by a species only referred to as inorganics. With the planet nearly taken over, the remaining original inhabitant life forms searched the planet to live in relative peace. This is until one day, 𝕚𝕚 finds a mysterious sword, giving him and his friends a planet-wide chase by the inorganics. What's the sword for? What are the inorganics? Will 𝕒𝕒𝕣 be restored to its former glory, or will it remain a desolate planet on the brink of having little to no life forms on it? And will I ever get rid of this cold that's making my nose and voice stuffy? Find out on the next episode of My Drill is the Drill that creates the heavens!
Shake, shake.
Oh, I'm getting a little distracted. I have some questions to ask you. Can a show, movie, anime, or series be carried by visuals alone? Can animation and character design make up for a confusing story or one-note characters? We've seen this time and time again. I was watching a Dead Air Films analysis the other day, and my hopeful one-day wife, Christy, made a fantastic point when discussing the silent era of film.
Look, I'm not trying to be a pretentious film student. I'm just incidentally that way.
But let's be honest, on movie nights with friends, none of us are throwing on Buster Keaton for a good laugh. Sound and color create a much more engaging experience for your average audience member. While the sheer spectacle of moving images was what put butts in theater seats a century ago, immersion is what's valued in Hollywood nowadays.
This has led many people to think of silent film as being too rudimentary to enjoy. The genesis of an art form that wasn't truly understood until the likes of Orson Welles and Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, I do agree. Modern film growers do enjoy immersion, but the spectacle itself is what enhances the immersion of the film, both working hand in hand to create a great and even downright magical experience. Unless if it's a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. God, I can't stand his movies. He makes movies for annoying, pretentious film students. No, wait, Christy, come back! Getting us engulfed in a world behind the screen. It's not as if films didn't go for big and lavish back then. Absolutely not. Have you ever watched the 1928 Noah's Ark movie? People actually died during the flood scene. More specifically, it's as if the past 50 years in cinema, the visual spectacle, immersion, and mostly financial viability aspects of film have been more so emphasized over the actual elements of story and characters. I feel like a film that pulls this off really well by prioritizing its visuals over its own characters and plot is the 1988 film Akira. Akira is a gorgeous film, if not, in my opinion, one of the greatest looking pieces of moving art, period. But on a first time viewing, it's confusing, bloated. With so many details, the story can come off as a bit messy in places and leaving the first and even second time viewers scratching their heads. And yet and still, Akira is a classic. One I'll watch 100 times more after this video and 1,000 times more before this video. Wait, what? I think I said that wrong. So that leaves us with if visuals at times can overcome a story, plot, and its characters, why doesn't anyone ever talk about 1984's Planet Busters? Or World of the Talisman? Or is it titled Famous for his between-frame animations, Yoshinori Kaneda is the reason why anime moves like this. Kaneda is an unsung, underrated animator who sadly passed away in 2009. He prioritized fast movement and dynamic poses with sketch lines during said movement, giving characters the feeling of speed and bounciness. All this while staying under budget, so that's something. He's best known as being a key animator for works on Vampire Hunter. He's best known as a key animator, and he worked on Vampire Hunter and Galaxy Express 999. And oh yeah, he's friends and a collaborator with this little known animator. You might have never heard of him, named Hayao Miyazaki. He also worked on a couple of his films too. During the 80s, Kaneda gained a bit of a cult following among the anime community and fandom. When it was announced that he was going to be making his own anime series, there was a buzz. From being a humble keyframe animator to making your own series, now that's an accomplishment many animators would have died for. Preview sketches, and with director Shinya Sadamitsu at the helm of the TV show project, and yes, the Sadamitsu, the same one who directed the hilarious OVA Dragon Half we covered last time, mixed with Sadamitsu's expressive character design and the directing of Kaneda's snappy animation, and honest to God, thinking about it, we actually have an old otaku's match in heaven right here. The build-up for Birth couldn't be understated. Before the show came out, there was a manga, early release sketches and art, magazine interviews, and even a music album made by Joe Hisashi for a show that hadn't even started production yet. Top it off for financial reasons, Birth had to change it. Top that off with financial reasons, Birth had to change from being a TV show. Why do you have to start making all that noise in the background?
I know you're joking around doing.
Why are you trying to make all that noise in the background while I'm recording?
I know you're playing.
I
know you are.
1 second. Which, due to financial reasons, Birth had to change from being a TV show to a multi-episode OVA. Then it was changed to a theatrical released film. And all this under a 2-year time span. Wow! I hope none of this has any effect on the final product at all. Despite the build-up to Birth, it was initially not as successful as expected to be. It was not until later on, due to home video sales, much later in the film's lifespan, that it actually recouped the budget, but it did not succeed or do the numbers Kaneda expected it to do. And top that off with the very mixed initial reception it got. It's not until more so recent years this anime has been getting the praise that it so rightfully deserves. But we're going to get into that in a second, because that leads us into the next question. Is Birth actually any good? If you've ever watched one of my reviews in the past, then you know that I always try my best to look at an anime's strengths and an anime's weaknesses. I'm more of a glass half full kind of reviewer, so even in the worst anime, I try my best to find something redeemable about it. So I thought I'd start this off with saying that Birth isn't a bad anime in the slightest. It's most definitely flawed, and dare I say, a bit of an acquired taste, but I would in no means call Birth a bad anime. In my opinion, the weakest part of this anime has to be the characters. These are some of the most stock anime personalities you could have ever rounded up, or lack of personalities that you could have rounded up. These two, in my opinion, are the best characters in the entire anime, and really, that's not saying much. And it's mostly because Boa, this is this guy, and Monga, that's this yellow thing, really have the most expressive character animations out of the entire cast, and I really feel like this was Sadamitsu's work. But expressive characters do not make up for a generic cast and a generic plot. The issue with these characters being as one note as they are, that it kind of gets to this point like, I didn't even know what was the relationship between Rasa and Nam until I had to do my research. So is Rasa and Nam brother and sister? Are they lover and lover? I don't know, let's do our research. Oh, they're both. Just kidding, no, they're not. Oh yeah, and then there's the character Kim. Yeah, I completely forgot about this guy. Then there's Arlia, this alien planet goddess that gives Nam the sword, who I feel so mixed about because she introduces the theme of birth, which is when there is collapse, there is the birth or a rebirth of a new world. But it's handled so confusingly that I really couldn't have cared less about it, and it comes off as more pretentious than anything. So, okay, generic characters, generic story, and top that off with the themes not being handled so well. So thus that brings me to the next question. Why did I enjoy Birth? First, I thought I'd start this part off with a rebuttal. There's this complaint that the movie has a jarring tonal shift toward the end of the film that's too dark. Some say it comes out of nowhere and doesn't go with the film. Personally, all I have to say is it takes place on a post-apocalyptic planet. Did you think that this film was going to end on everyone holding hands and skipping into the sunlight? Let's be so for real right now. And it's not like it comes out of nowhere. Quite literally, it's built up to be like this at the very beginning. So I don't want to spoil anything for this anime for you, but I feel like this complaint is null and void. But with that being said, remember that review I made about 2 or maybe 3 videos back? It was called The Beauty of Simplicity and Giant Gourd. And I find simplicity as something that is absolutely gorgeous if it's handled correctly, especially within the realm of animation. And I must say, when it comes down to design and this anime, it is fucking baller. Ross's outfit is what my fellow niggas in the hood would call fucking heat. And as the gays would say, sis slays the house down by giving a cutty little Red Riding Hood vibe. Same with Nom, the black leotard with silver shoulders and limbs is sick as hell. This outfit just goes insanely hard, and if more people knew who Nom and Rasa were, I would most definitely cosplay them at a con. Yes, I live by the validations of other people, and yes, I make sure I go to cons so that people know who I'm dressed as. I simply love the attention, and you know what? I'm sorting it out in therapy, okay? Same goes to everyone in the entire cast of this anime. Everyone looks great, all the way down to the inorganics. When I was editing, I sort of realized that these giant inorganics that appear sort of look like the yellow devil from Mega Man. But that's just me, though. Now, one thing that a lot of people typically tend to feel very mixed about in this movie is the fact that Birth is essentially one entire giant chase scene put to amazing music. And in my opinion, I didn't find the chase scenes boring. I found them really entertaining. And God, this brings me to my next point. God in heaven almighty, why is this animation so good? How the entire anime finds a way to make an exciting chase scene and still make it focus on Ross's ass. And to point this point out once more, I adore the way how expressive these characters are. And oh dear God, this soundtrack is goddamn amazing. So, okay, I purposefully downplayed who Joe Hisaishi is. He's a composer behind the majority of Studio Ghibli's greatest hits, and though Birth came out a few months after Nausicaa, you could tell 1984 was not only a busy year for the man, but a year where the man was cooking nothing but bangers. Hisaishi gave us a synth retro space funk soundtrack that's not just 80s as hell, but it feels like it transcends the time it was even released in. So thus, that brings us to the main question I wanted to ask you guys. What is a vibe? Thankfully, my friend Fiona Ginzo Gatama is here to give us the definition straight off of Urban Dictionary. Fiona, take it away.
Hi, this is Fiona Ginzo Gautama, and I have a terrible ant problem. So I'm going to have to record this very quickly.
Vibe. Vibe means to have this feeling that what you're listening, feeling, or seeing is reaching your soul. Friend. Ooh, I get this vibe whenever this song comes on.
YouTube's copyright system just caught the video. Listen to it on YouTube, I guess. One thing I picked up about when I was watching Birth is that Birth is way too concerned about looking and being cool, and I have to say, it succeeds in flying colors at that. Safe to say, it vibes. And goddammit, it vibes really well. Birth isn't concerned with all these other big elements, it just wants you to vibe with it. It sits you down and makes you join these 5 characters on a planet-wide journey to save their home while giving you amazing space funk and energetic animation. Birth knows it's too cool for whatever negative thing I'm about to say for it, and damn it, that's why it kinda sucks that Kaneda never got the chance to helm a project the way he did Birth. Sad to say, the man died with Birth essentially being one of the most notable things he created, but let us not get too down from that. Because first of all, Birth is still really good. There was one animator on Birth that would take Kaneda's style of animation and use it to influence his own animation studio, which would usher a new age for the anime industry going forward. That was a young man by the name of Hideki Anno, the creator of Christ, it always comes back to Ava. Now, if you're going to watch Birth, keep in mind there's 3 versions out there. There's the Japanese original, then there's the Streamline Harmony Gold Dub English dub that's called World of the Talisman / Planet Busters, and then last but not least, there's the ADV dub that was redubbed back in 2004. If you're trying to watch the anime in English, then I would definitely recommend the most recent ADV dub. I think the performances are better, and it's way more accurate to the original Japanese script. But if you want to go for a pure authenticism, to be purely authentic, then you go with the Japanese version. Well, of course you would. So that was Birth, a hidden gem of an anime that more people should look at simply because it vibes. What it lacks in character and story, it makes up for in visuals and music. Though it may be a bit of an acquired taste, I definitely say please check out Birth if you ever get the chance. It's a solid good time. Speaking of time, I ought to be on my way, because if I'm too busy here still yapping about Birth, that means I can't start my next review on 𝕨𝕬𝕥𝕗 the Chojo. 3, 2, 1.
Hot shots to go, baby!
Till next time.